Welcome back. Some stark comparisons, as we showed you before break, to the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests in Washington back in June. You can see to the left. That's when protesters were pepper sprayed, tear gassed, shot with rubber bullets by riot police. While Trump supporters got a very different, calmer reaction from police yesterday. Why is that? Sociology professor Kwasi Owusu-Bempah joins me now this morning. I just want to get your initial reaction to seeing that split screen, and a lot of people were talking about that comparison of Kwasi. When you see that, are you surprised?
I'm not at all surprised, no. We've seen this time and time again, most recently last spring in Michigan, where similarly Trump supporters stormed the Michigan Capitol building armed, and they were met with a similar response by the police. Whereas obviously over the summer, we saw numerous instances in peaceful demonstrations where people who were out to demonstrate against anti-Black racism and other forms of racism were met with a much more violent and harsh police response.
Dependent on who you were listening to, whether it be on social media, mainstream media, whatnot, some of the language was very different. I want to bring up a tweet that a picture that's been, going viral, and you tweeted about it as well, and it's Peter Griffith from Family Guy. And you see protest versus riot dependent on color of your color of your skin, I should say. Why did you think it was so important to tweet about this?
Well, and I tweeted that more actually for the response. What happened yesterday has been described as a coup, as an insurrection. And so I think, it goes beyond perhaps even riot. But the response we got or that we saw yesterday, I think was indicative of the race of the individuals who were engaged in both violent and destructive behavior. They were largely white males. There were, some people of color in the crowd, but these were largely white men. And they were treated in a very different way than, as I've said, the Black Lives Matter demonstrators were over the summer. And I think, this gets to the heart of the white supremacy that the United States was not only founded on, but that continues to permeate various aspects of American society.
And not only outside of the Capitol, we're talking about storming inside, putting feet up on the desk of Nancy Pelosi, writing a threatening message. This goes well beyond. And a lot of people are saying it's as if the doors were opened for some of these people who stormed the Capitol. The biggest question is always, and this is one of the pictures, of course, that we're talking about, but is the what's next? How do we fix this? And it's such a simple question, but it's so very loaded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, just going back to that storming of the Capitol building, there was one security guard at the front door. And I think, again, there would have been a much greater response had this been a group of Black individuals who were there demonstrating for their rights or for whatever it might be. The what's next, I think, America needs to wake up to the reality that is its situation and deal not only with the a very deep political divide in the country, but grapple with, its history of race relations. Obviously, the nation is extremely divided, and I think once we start to hear a little less from Donald Trump, his tweets were suspended yesterday, of course. Hopefully, Americans will come to realize what's been taking place and the nonsense and the garbage that they've been fed by their commander-in-chief for the past 4 years. But obviously, we've got hundreds of years of American history to get us to this point, and we won't be getting past it anytime soon.
Indeed, we're going to see a new administration, but as you mentioned, these changes don't happen overnight. There's a lot of conversation about what it means for us as Canadians and on this side of the border, whether or not we're immune. The answer is no, we are not immune to this. Racism does exist here in Canada. What do you say to our Canadian viewers when they watch this?
Yeah, I think we need to, another tweet that I saw yesterday was Aaron O'Toole from a little while ago talking about taking Canada back, spouting the same rhetoric that Donald Trump has been. And I think we need to recognize that obviously we have, political divisions here as well, that are some of our political leaders are trying to play on the same themes and incite the same types of divisions that we're seeing south of the border. And of course, with respect to the race issue, we know that we have the Proud Boys, of course, and other white right-wing extremist groups here in this country. And we should not convince ourselves that we are not only immune to this, but these problems aren't also festering both underneath and bubbling to the surface of our country as well.
Kwasi, as always, we appreciate your time this morning and your insight. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.